The entertainment world is spinning with disbelief tonight, as rumors explode across social media that two of Love and Hip Hop's most controversial men, Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris, have been quietly blacklisted from reality television. Fans are in shock, insiders are whispering, and producers are scrambling to contain what's being described as one of the biggest behind-the-scenes meltdowns in VH1 history. What really happened between these two once bankable stars and the network that made them household names? The whispers began after an explosive on-set altercation allegedly left production staff shaken and cast members refusing to film. Witnesses claim it all started with a heated confrontation over money, loyalty, and betrayal, three things that have followed both men since their very first episode. But this time, it wasn't just reality TV drama, it was personal. Sources close to production say Mendeecees stormed off set after an argument with Kirk turned physical, with crew members forced to step in as tensions spiraled out of control. Cameras were rolling, mics were hot, and insiders say the footage was too real to ever make it to air. What followed was chaos. Yandy reportedly broke down in tears backstage, yelling that Mendeecees was being set up for humiliation, while Rashida tried to mediate between her husband and producers demanding apologies, but neither man was backing down. Instead, accusations began to fly, claims of favoritism, broken contracts, and secret alliances with producers. Fans have noticed that both men have been suspiciously missing from recent cast announcements and public appearances. Kirk, who's known for his calm business persona, was seen in a tense phone call outside Frost Bistro, his face hard, his tone sharp. Mendeecees, meanwhile, has been posting cryptic messages about fake loyalty and being used for ratings. It's left followers wondering if they're witnessing the quiet end of two reality TV legacies or the calm before an even bigger storm. Adding to the mystery, Love and Hip Hop insiders claim that a secret meeting took place between top executives and certain cast members, where the words image protection and liability risk were thrown around. Translation: the network may be done with both Kirk and Mendeecees for good, but is it really about professionalism or about control? Some believe this so-called blacklist is retaliation for them speaking up about unfair pay and manipulative storylines. Others think it's connected to something darker: leaked text thread, a hidden audio recording, or even a producer scandal that hasn't yet come to light. One thing is clear: whatever's happening behind the cameras has crossed the line from scripted drama to real-life fallout. Friendships are breaking, marriages are strained, and both men's reputations are hanging by a thread. The audience that once cheered for their redemption arcs now watches in disbelief as they face the possibility of losing everything they built on screen. What really led to this downfall and who's pulling the strings from the shadows? Stay tuned, because this story is only getting started. The air was heavy with tension as Kirk Frost sat alone in the dimly lit corner of his restaurant, Frost Bistro, staring at his phone like it held the answer to his future. The whispers had grown too loud to ignore. His name and Mendeecees were trending again, and not because of any new project or heartwarming family moment. No, this time it was different. It was darker. Producers were calling it unacceptable behavior, while fans called it karma. Kirk leaned back, rubbing his temples, muttering to himself, "Man, they really trying to end me out here." The sound of his phone buzzing broke through the silence. It was Rashida. Her voice trembled on the other end, tired and frustrated. "Kirk, you need to fix this. They're saying y'all might be cut off for good. This isn't just gossip anymore, it's getting official." Kirk exhaled slowly, eyes hardening. "They can't cut me out of my own story," he said, but even he didn't sound convinced. Meanwhile, across town, Mendeecees was pacing back and forth in his living room, while Yandy sat on the couch, arms crossed, watching him unravel. "You think they really gonna blacklist you?" she asked quietly. Mendeecees stopped, glaring at the floor. "They already have, Yandy. I called Mona, and she didn't even want to talk. She said, Mendy, it's out of my hands." Yandy shook her head, tears forming. "After everything we gave that show, they used our lives, our pain, our storylines for ratings, and now they just throw us away." Mendeecees' voice cracked with anger. "I built that show, man. I carried that storyline when nobody else wanted to touch it. And Kirk, he's my brother. Now they trying to make it look like some kind of problem." Yandy looked away, whispering, "You were always too real for them." As the news spread, fans online began digging deeper, posting clips of past arguments, old confessionals, and behind-the-scenes leaks that painted both men as volatile. "They've been faking it for years," one fan tweeted. "Now the truth coming out." Another wrote, "Mendeecees always acted like he was better than everyone, but karma don't miss." The flood of speculation became a wildfire. Both families were dragged into the mess. Rashida found herself being tagged in posts accusing her of covering for Kirk, while Yandy's DMs were filled with people asking if the rumors were true. The situation had gone beyond damage control. What no one knew was that the final straw hadn't even leaked yet. Sources inside the production team were sitting on footage that could destroy both men's reputations if released. The fight that took place 2 weeks earlier was more than a disagreement, it was explosive. Cameras were rolling as Kirk accused Mendeecees of trying to sabotage his brand, claiming he'd been feeding producers negative stories about Frost Bistro to get more screen time. Mendeecees shot back, "You think anybody care about your lil restaurant? You out here frontin' like a boss, but you begging these people to stay relevant." Crew members tried to separate them, but Kirk's voice rose over the chaos. "Nah, tell the truth. You've been plotting behind my back since Atlanta season 9. You jealous, bro, admit it." Mendeecees laughed bitterly. "Jealous of you? Please. You've been embarrassing your wife on TV for years. You think anybody respect that?" That line hit Kirk like a slap. Rashida, who had just walked in, froze in shock. Producers scrambled to shut down the set. The director shouted for cameras to cut, but the mics were still hot. Kirk threw off his jacket and stormed out, yelling, "Keep the cameras rolling. Show the world how fake this is." The crew stood speechless as he walked off set. After that day, both men were told to take a break from filming, but insiders revealed that it wasn't a break, it was a suspension. The network wanted distance, especially after footage surfaced of Kirk's public argument with a producer outside a downtown Atlanta club days later. Witnesses said Kirk accused the producer of manipulating black men for ratings. The producer denied it, but the video had already gone viral on a gossip page by morning. Back in New York, Mendeecees met with his longtime friend and fellow castmate, Rich Dallas, at a lounge to vent. "They think they can erase us like we didn't make this show," Mendeecees said, his tone sharp. Rich nodded, lowering his voice. "Bro, they don't care who built it. Once you cost them money, it's over." Mendeecees frowned, staring at his drink. "Nah, this ain't about money. It's about power. They mad 'cause I don't play the puppet anymore." Rich sighed. "Yeah, but you went at Kirk on camera. That's what they'll use. They'll twist it, say you got anger issues. You know how they do." Mendeecees clenched his fists. "Then I'll tell my side." Rich shook his head. "Good luck with that, 'cause they own the footage." As tension built, both families began to feel the weight of the scandal. Rashida tried to keep her brand deals alive while fans questioned her silence. She finally broke her silence on Liv, saying softly, "People gone say what they want, but I know my husband. Kirk not perfect, but he's not what they're trying to make him out to be." Despite her calm tone, her eyes told a different story. She was exhausted. Yandy, on the other hand, took a more direct approach. Posting on Instagram, "You can't cancel real, you can't blacklist truth." Her post gained over 100,000 likes in hours, but it only fueled the fire. Blogs twisted her words into headlines like "Yandy confirms blacklist and Love and Hip Hop stars officially done." Behind closed doors, Kirk's relationship with Rashida grew strained. He was frustrated, restless, and angry at everyone. "They're killing my image," he snapped one night. "I spent years fixing what I messed up, and now they making me look like a villain again." Rashida sighed, replying quietly, "You keep fighting everybody, Kirk. Maybe it's time to step back." Kirk slammed his hand on the table. "Step back. If I step back, they win." His voice cracked, and for a moment, the bravado slipped. "They want me to disappear, they want both of us gone." She looked at him sadly, whispering, "Then maybe disappearing is the only peace we'll get." Mendeecees wasn't doing much better. His phone calls went unanswered. Deals were on hold, and the word liability started to follow him everywhere. He tried reaching out to the network's public relations head, who only sent back a short message. "The network has decided to move in a different direction." Mendeecees threw his phone across the room. "Different direction, my ass," he yelled, startling Yandy. She walked over, placing her hand on his arm. "Babe, maybe this is the sign. Maybe it's time to walk away." He shook his head, his voice breaking. "Walk away from what?" "From everything I built." "Nah, I can't let them take that from me." As both men faced growing isolation, rumors of a secret recording began to spread. An anonymous insider claimed there was unseen footage of a post-fight confrontation that showed Kirk and Mendeecees in a heated conversation with two executive producers. Supposedly, one of them threatened legal action. Kirk allegedly said, "You think I'm scared of your contracts? Go ahead, air it. Let people see who the real manipulators are." But no one outside production had seen the clip. Still, the rumor alone was enough to cause panic at the network. Calls were made, Meetings were held, and suddenly, all future filming schedules involving Kirk and Mendeecees were under review. Fans noticed the silence. No new scenes, no behind-the-scenes promos, no reunion teaser. The absence was loud, and speculation only grew. Something big went down, one blogger said in a viral TikTok. They're hiding something because if the footage leaked, it would expose the whole system. Whether or not that was true, the damage was already done. Kirk and Mendeecees were both off the roster, their names replaced by newer, younger cast members eager to fill the gap. But behind the headlines and the hashtags, both men were facing something far deeper than lost screen time. They were facing the slow, painful realization that the empire they helped build might have already moved on without them. And somewhere in that silence, both started to wonder who betrayed who first. Kirk woke up the next morning to the harsh glare of his phone lighting up again and again. His name was all over the blogs. The same headlines, copied and twisted into something uglier with every repost. Kirk Frost banned from VH1, Frost Bistro scandal erupts, Kirk and Mendeecees blacklist confirmed. He scrolled through the chaos, his jaw tightening, the veins in his hand visible as he gripped the phone. It wasn't just gossip anymore, people were talking like he was done. There were even posts suggesting Frost Bistro might close after sponsors pulled out. He slammed the phone on the counter, muttering, "They trying to erase me like I ain't been holding this city down for years." Rashida appeared from the hallway, already dressed for a meeting, her face unreadable. "You can't keep reading it, Kirk. You'll drive yourself crazy." He turned sharply, eyes burning. "So I'm just supposed to let M destroy me? Nah, I can't." Rashida crossed her arms. "You think yelling at your phone is gonna fix anything? They got the footage, Kirk. They own the narrative." He stared at her, his pride cracking just enough for the truth to slip out. "They ain't just killing my career, they killing me." Meanwhile, in New York, Mendeecees was on the phone with his lawyer, his tone colder than usual. "You telling me there's nothing I can do?" The lawyer sighed. "They didn't fire you, technically. They just chose not to renew your contract. It's legal." Mendeecees laughed bitterly. "Legal don't mean fair." He hung up and leaned against the window, watching traffic crawl below. Yandi entered the room, holding 2 mugs of coffee. "You haven't slept," she said softly. "You can't fix this by pacing holes in the floor." He looked at her, his eyes red from exhaustion. "They think I'm just gonna disappear, but I got too much to say for that." She handed him the coffee, her tone cautious. "Say it where though? They won't give you a platform." He smirked slightly. "Then I'll make my own." Word spread fast that Mendeecees was planning to go live on Instagram to clear his name. Producers panicked, fearing what he might reveal. One insider told a gossip page that the network's legal team sent a warning to his reps, reminding him about confidentiality clauses. But Mendeecees didn't care. At exactly 8 p.m., his face appeared on screen, the comment section exploding instantly. "Y'all been hearing a lot of lies," he began. "I've been quiet, respectful, but I see now that silence just make them think they can control you. I'm not perfect, but I'm real. And some people can't handle real." Yandi sat beside him, her hand resting gently on his arm. "We not gonna talk bad about nobody," she added. "We just want the truth out there." But the truth, whatever it was, had already become a weapon. Within minutes, clips from the live were reposted across dozens of blogs. Headlines screamed, "Mendeecees exposes producers," and Yandi confirms behind-the-scenes manipulation. In Atlanta, Kirk watched the live from his office, shaking his head. "Bro, out here talking reckless," he muttered. Rashida looked up from her laptop. "Maybe he's just tired of being quiet, like you." Kirk sighed. "Nah, this gonna make it worse. They gonna use this as proof." He unstable. Still, part of him understood. The silence was suffocating. The next day, a leaked internal email surfaced. It was short, but damning. Someone from the network's executive team wrote that Frost and Harris's presence creates an unsafe and unpredictable environment for production. Fans couldn't believe it. "Unsafe. These the same dudes y'all been filming for a decade," one commenter wrote. Another added, "Sounds like they just trying to scapegoat them." Hashtags like #Justice for Kirk and #Free Mendeecees began trending. But for every supporter, there were critics who said both men had it coming. "They love the spotlight till it burns." One post read, "The divide was brutal, and both families felt it." Rashida's businesses started taking hits. A sponsor pulled out of her clothing line, citing brand reputation concerns. She broke down one evening while talking to her sister. "I built everything from scratch. We did this together. And now it's like all our work means nothing." Kirk walked in mid-conversation, overhearing enough to know she was right. "You blaming me?" he asked quietly. She wiped her tears, shaking her head. No, I'm just tired, Kirk. Tired of fixing what the world keeps breaking? He sat beside her, staring at the wall. They forgot we human, he said, almost whispering. In New York, Mendeecees faced a similar storm. An endorsement deal he'd been negotiating for months was cancelled. The company released a statement about reevaluating partnerships. Yandi was furious. So they can air our arguments for ratings. But now they act like they too good to work with us, she said, pacing. Mendeecees rubbed his chin, lost in thought. They don't want us independent, Yandi. They want us desperate. She stopped, frowning. So what you gonna do? He looked up, eyes determined. Start my own show. No producers, no fake storylines, just us. She stared at him in disbelief. You serious? He nodded. If they won't give me the mic, I'll build one. That same night, Kirk received a call from a former VH1 producer who'd quietly left the company months ago. I shouldn't even be telling you this, the voice said, but they're trying to cut ties completely. They think your image is too unpredictable now. Kirk laughed dryly. Unpredictable? Man, they've been scripting my life for years. The producer paused. You didn't hear this from me, but they're pitching a new spin-off without you or Mendeecees. They replacing y'all with new faces. Kirk froze. Who? The producer hesitated, then said a name that made Kirk's stomach twist. Safari. Silence hung between them. Kirk ended the call without another word. The betrayal cut deep. He felt replaced. Disposable, like the years of giving his life to the cameras meant nothing. He picked up his phone and texted Mendeecees. They really doing it. They replacing us. Within minutes, Mendeecees called back. I know, he said flatly. They already reached out to some of our old producers. They think they can reboot without us. Kirk's voice dropped. So what we've gone do? There was a pause. Then Mendeecees replied. We expose everything. The plan wasn't clear yet, but both men felt the same fire. For years, they'd been told what to say, how to react, when to cry. And now they were ready to turn the cameras back on the people behind them. Kirk arranged a meeting at an old studio in Atlanta with a small independent crew he trusted. He wanted to film his truth. When the cameras started rolling, he looked directly into the lens. They said I was too difficult, too real, too unpredictable. But what they really mean is I stopped playing their game. His voice was calm, but heavy with emotion. We made that show what it is, and now they want to pretend we never existed. Nah, y'all gone, hear me. Hours later, Mendeecees uploaded a teaser for what looked like a Talal documentary. The caption read, "They can take the show, but not the story." It spread like wildfire. Bloggers speculated whether the two were teaming up for a joint expose. The network reportedly went into crisis mode, with lawyers drafting statements to dispute misleading narratives. Still, the damage was done. For the first time, Kirk and Mendeecees weren't being edited, cut, or muted. They had control and the industry was watching nervously. As the teaser racked up millions of views overnight, people began to pick sides. Longtime fans left emotional comments like "We grew up watching y'all." They can't erase that, and finally someone telling the truth about how these networks treat black families. But others accused them of clout chasing, claiming it was just another publicity stunt. Mendeecees didn't respond. He didn't need to. The silence was louder than any denial. Rashida and Yandi, though supportive, were uneasy. If you do this, there's no going back, Rashida warned Kirk. They'll blacklist you from the whole industry. Kirk nodded, a grim smile forming. Maybe I'm already blacklisted. Across state lines, Yandi told Mendeecees the same thing. They'll make sure you never get another deal, another platform. He looked at her steadily. Then I'll make my own platform. By the end of the week, the internet was buzzing with one question. Were Kirk and Mendeecees really about to go to war with VH1? Industry insiders whispered that lawsuits were already being discussed, while former cast members sent quiet messages of support. One producer who'd worked on early seasons posted cryptically, "Some people finally woke up." It felt like the beginning of something bigger than reality TV. But neither Kirk nor Mendeecees knew that the next twist waiting for them would shake even the people standing in their corner. The morning after the teaser dropped, Atlanta felt different. Kirk drove through Midtown with the windows down, his phone still buzzing with notifications. Every blog, every gossip page, every entertainment outlet had one headline on repeat. Kirk Frost and Mendeecees Harris declare war on VH1, even though he tried to play it cool. A spark of adrenaline pulsed through him. For years, he'd been told to stick to the script, to play nice, to smile for the cameras. But now, the story was finally his. When he arrived at Frost Bistro, a crowd of fans was already waiting outside, phones out, cheering. Some shouted, "We got you, Kirk," while others yelled, "Tell the truth, man." He smiled briefly, but deep down, he knew this wave of support could turn just as fast as it came. He greeted his staff and walked inside, his mind already racing with what would come next. In New York, Mendeecees and Yandi were dealing with a storm of their own. Their home had turned into a media circus. Camera crews parked outside, reporters shouting questions, drones buzzing overhead. Yandi pulled the blinds shut, muttering under her breath, "They wasn't checking for us last week, now they can't stop." Mendeecees sat at the kitchen counter, phone in hand, scrolling through comments. "They love a scandal," he said dryly. "They don't care about the truth, they care about who's louder." Yandi looked at him sharply. "Then we'll be louder." He met her gaze, smirking slightly. "That's the energy I need." By the afternoon, Kirk and Mendeecees were on a conference call together, going over plans. "So we dropping the first episode next week," Kirk said. "Just raw footage, no filters, no edits. Let them see how dirty it really got." Mendeecees replied, his tone cautious but confident. "You sure you're ready for that smoke?" "They got lawyers lined up, Kirk." Kirk's voice hardened. "I've been through worse than lawyers. They made me the villain for 10 years. What more can they take?" Mendeecees paused. "They can take your piece." Kirk laughed bitterly. Too late for that. Rumors began to swirl that VH1 executives had reached out privately, offering settlement discussions in exchange for both men shelving their expose. An insider claimed the network wanted to avoid further embarrassment. Kirk reportedly refused without hesitation, while Mendeecees entertained the idea until he learned they wanted him to sign an NDA. "They want me quiet," he told Yandi that night. "And if I sign that paper, I'm part of the problem." She nodded. "Then don't sign. Speak your truth." The backlash from the industry was swift. Several producers unfollowed both couples on social media. A few former co-stars publicly distanced themselves, claiming they didn't want to be involved in negativity. Erica Mena posted a cryptic tweet, "Some people love playing victim when they don't get their way." Spice reposted it with a laughing emoji, while Safari commented, "Facts." Fans took sides instantly, flooding timelines with arguments. "They always turn on the real ones," one supporter wrote. "Nah, Kirk and Mendeecees did this to themselves." Another replied, "The entire love and hip-hop fandom felt like a battlefield." Rashida tried to stay calm, but the tension at home was suffocating. She sat across from Kirk that evening, both of them silent for a long moment before she finally spoke. "Baby, I know you feel like this your fight, but we still got businesses, a family. I can't lose everything over this." Kirk's expression softened. "You not gonna lose nothing. I'm fighting for us." She shook her head slowly. "It don't feel like that. It feels like you fighting for pride." He didn't respond. She stood, whispering, "I hope it's worth it." When the door closed behind her, Kirk felt the weight of what he was risking, settled deep in his chest. In contrast, Mendeecees and Yandi seemed more united than ever. They spent late nights editing footage, talking through strategy, and brainstorming how to turn their pain into something powerful. One night, as they reviewed clips, Yandi paused a frame that showed a heated behind-the-scenes meeting from years ago. "Look at this," she said softly. They were arguing about how much pain to show, like it was some kind of game. Mendeecees shook his head, his voice low. "We gave them our lives, and they sold it back to us like entertainment." He stared at the screen, then added quietly, "They gonna regret underestimating us." When the first episode of their tell-all documentary aired online, it broke the internet. Titled, "They Lied About Us," it featured raw footage of heated cast meetings, unseen interviews, and emotional confessions that had never made it to television. Kirk appeared first, saying, "You think this was a reality show? Nah, this was survival." Mendeecees followed, explaining how producers manipulated stories for ratings. Both men spoke about being pressured into drama that didn't exist, being pitted against each other for viewership. The video hit 1 million views within 6 hours. Fans flooded the comments with support, anger, and disbelief. "This industry is evil," one person wrote. "I knew they were being exploited," said another. But not everyone was sympathetic. Some accused them of rewriting history, claiming they'd benefited from the fame until it no longer suited them. As the chaos unfolded online, VH1 issued an official statement calling the video misleading and defamatory. They denied all accusations, insisting that all cast members participate voluntarily and are compensated fairly. But the timing of the statement only fueled the fire. Kirk responded within hours, posting a screenshot with the caption, "Funny how they silent for years till we speak up." Mendeecees reposted it with one word in all caps, "Truth." The fallout was immediate. Interviews were requested from every direction. Blogs wanted exclusives. podcasts offered appearance fees, and streaming platforms reached out to discuss licensing the documentary. But while the attention felt like validation, it also brought new enemies. One anonymous account leaked what they claimed was a private phone call between Kirk and a producer, painting Kirk as manipulative and volatile. Within hours, that clip was everywhere. "You see how fast they turn it on you," Mendeecees texted him. Kirk replied, "They scared? That's how I know we winning." Yet behind the confidence, cracks were forming. Rashida grew distant, missing meetings and avoiding press. Yandy, though supportive, began to worry about how far Mendeecees was willing to go. One night, she said quietly, "You don't have to prove anything to them anymore." He looked at her with a mix of love and defiance. "This ain't about proving, it's about legacy," she sighed. "Legacy don't mean much if it breaks you." As the documentary series gained global attention, whispers emerged that other former reality stars were considering joining Kirk and Mendeecees for a mass industry expose. Names like Rich Delas, Carly Red, and even Jocelyn Hernandez were thrown around in speculation threads. One insider claimed, if they all unite, VH1 might never recover. It sounded exaggerated, but the possibility alone sent shivers through executive offices. Damage control teams were activated, and an emergency board meeting was called to evaluate reputational risk. But even as Kirk and Mendeecees started gaining support from unexpected allies, a new shadow was forming. An anonymous page posted screenshots that allegedly showed messages between Mendeecees and a former producer, suggesting he'd once tried to sabotage Kirk's business ventures for more storyline tension. The comments exploded. "So he did betray Kirk," one fan wrote. "They playing y'all again," another argued. When Kirk saw the posts, his stomach dropped. He called Mendeecees immediately. "Tell me that's fake." There was a long pause before Mendeecees answered softly, "It's old, bro. They twisting it." Kirk's tone turned cold. "Doesn't matter if it's old, it looks bad." The line went silent for several seconds before Mendeecees said, "So after everything, you really think I'd do you like that?" Kirk didn't respond. He just hung up. That night, Kirk scrolled through the comments alone in his office. The same people who had praised their unity a week earlier were now calling them hypocrites. "They exposing the network but can't even trust each other," one post read. He stared at it for a long time, realizing how quickly loyalty can dissolve in the glare of the spotlight. Mendeecees tried to call again, but Kirk ignored it, shutting his phone off and sinking back into his chair. Outside, the city moved on like nothing was happening, but inside, everything was falling apart again. And somewhere, deep down, both men began to fear that maybe, just maybe, the real war wasn't against the network anymore. It was against each other. The next morning, Atlanta's skyline was hazy, the city holding its breath as if aware of the storm brewing inside the entertainment world. Kirk sat by the large windows of Frost Bistro, sipping black coffee, staring at the street below where fans and paparazzi mingled, capturing every movement on their phones. The comments online hadn't slowed down. If anything, they were multiplying, a digital tidal wave of support, criticism, and speculation. Kirk's phone buzzed constantly, a relentless reminder that nothing was private anymore. His gaze softened when he saw Rashida's name pop up, followed by a simple message, "We'll get through this." He exhaled slowly, a mix of relief and exhaustion. "We better," he muttered, tapping back. "Always." Meanwhile, in New York, Mendeecees paced the hardwood floor of their apartment, Yandy trailing behind him, her hands folded in frustration. "You can't keep running circles, Mendy," she said firmly. "You gotta decide how far you're willing to go." He stopped, turning to face her. "You think I don't know that?" His voice was low, but the intensity burned through the room. "Every day I wake up, I see the headlines, the screenshots, the posts twisting my name. We gave them everything, and they still trying to bury us." Yandy's eyes softened. "Then give them your truth, but don't lose yourself in the process." He nodded, a tense grin forming. "I ain't losing. If they want war, we gonna fight." The first public fallout hit harder than expected. An entertainment news site released an article claiming that Kirk and Mendeecees' collaboration for the tell-all was sour and unstable, insinuating a rift between the two. The headline read, "Frost and Harris feud behind cameras. Insiders say collaboration on explosive expose is falling apart." Kirk slammed his laptop shut. "This ain't a feud. This is spin," he growled. Rashida walked over, trying to soothe him. "They're gonna say whatever gets clicks. Kirk, ignore it." He rubbed his eyes, muttering, "Clicks ain't the problem. Perception is, and they controlling perception." In response, Mendeecees decided to address the rumors head-on. He went live on Instagram again, the camera shaking slightly in his hands. "Y'all seeing this?" He asked, voice tense. They trying to make it seem like we can't even work together. Nah, we united. What y'all see is truth. Don't get it twisted. Fans flooded the comments, some cheering, others skeptical. We ain't seeing trust issues, we seeing truth bombs, one supporter wrote. Another commented, this is just another stunt for attention. Mendeecees shook his head, muttering to Yandi stunt. Nah, this my life. She placed her hand on his shoulder, silently urging him to stay steady. As days passed, the online frenzy grew. Clips from the first episode of their documentary were shared on forums, TikTok, and YouTube compilations. Every line of dialogue, every glance, every off-camera interaction was analyzed, dissected, and debated. Some fans praised their courage. Finally, someone showing how these networks manipulate reality. One post read, others accused them of exaggeration. They just mad they're not in control, wrote another. The battle of narratives raged on. And Kirk and Mendeecees were at the center. Every word amplified, every action scrutinized. The network didn't stay silent for long. Insiders revealed that executives were holding emergency meetings, discussing the possibility of legal action to prevent further leaks. A confidential memo circulated among staff, warning of potential reputational damage and instructing producers to avoid contact with both men. It was clear, VH1 saw Kirk and Mendeecees not just as former talent, but as a threat. Kirk received a call from a former producer who whispered, "They scared, bro. This ain't just about a show anymore." Kirk's laugh was low and bitter. Good, let 'em be scared. We exposing truth, not ratings. Tensions escalated between the two men when an anonymous tip claimed that footage existed, showing Mendeecees allegedly undermining Kirk during one of the early filming seasons. Kirk confronted him over the phone. So they really got something to make it look like I can't trust you? He asked. Mendeecees exhaled, running a hand through his hair. It's old Kirk. They twisting past drama. You think I'd ever sabotage you? Kirk's jaw tightened. I hope you're right, man. 'Cause if this blows up, it's on both of us. Mendeecees nodded. We handle it together. That's the only way. Amid the chaos, their families were feeling the strain. Rashida spent late nights managing crisis communications, responding to fans, and trying to keep Frost Bistro afloat. Yandi juggled social media strategy, fan engagement, and protecting Mendeecees' reputation. The stress was immense. One night, Rashida confided in Kirk. I can't keep fighting on all fronts. We need a plan, or this is gonna destroy us. Kirk looked out the window, Atlanta's city lights reflecting in his eyes. Then we fight smart, not just loud. We take control before they control the story again. Their strategy began to take shape. Kirk and Mendeecees decided to release short behind-the-scenes clips daily, giving fans a glimpse of what had really happened on set. Kirk posted footage of heated production meetings, showing how cast members were manipulated into arguments for the camera. Mendeecees shared private conversations with producers, revealing pressure to create conflict where none existed. The response was immediate. Fans applauded their bravery. Media outlets scrambled to report on the revelations, and VH1's legal team reportedly went into overdrive. But the pressure wasn't just external. Inside, doubts crept in. Kirk started questioning whether their actions might backfire. We giving them everything, but what if they spin it worse? He asked Rashida late one night. She held his hand, her voice steady. Then we keep speaking. Truth don't bend. Mendeecees faced similar fears. After a particularly harsh online article, he turned to Yan. What if this ruins us forever? She looked at him, unwavering. Then we make it worth it. The world needs to see real, not fake. As the days turned into weeks, the momentum shifted. More former cast members began quietly supporting Kirk and Mendeecees, sending messages, offering testimonies, and even hinting at joining a larger expose. Whispers of a full-blown documentary series grew louder. One entertainment insider claimed, if they bring everyone together, the network could be facing a PR nightmare bigger than anything in their history. Kirk and Mendeecees exchanged glances during a video call. The stakes were higher than ever, and the line between allies and enemies was blurred. Yet, amid the unfolding drama, a new twist emerged. An anonymous account leaked screenshots suggesting that Kirk and Mendeecees had previously disagreed on how to handle the exposure, implying tension between them. Fans immediately speculated about a split. Kirk called Mendeecees, voice tense. They trying to make it look like we cracking. Is that true? Mendeecees sighed. It's a misunderstanding. Bro, don't let them plant seeds. Kirk's response was brief. We stay on the same page, no matter what. With the first wave of clips gaining millions of views, both men realized the scale of what they were dealing with. The narrative had shifted. They were no longer just stars trying to defend themselves. They were symbols of resistance against an industry that thrived on manipulation. And as they prepared for the next release, both understood that every move, every post, every word, would be dissected. The battle was far from over, but for the first time, Kirk and Mendeecees felt they were in control of the story and nothing, not even the network, could take that from them. Alright, let's dive straight into a gripping call to action for your script, keeping it in a dramatic, reality TV style tone. Ready to voice over. You've seen it all unfold, the fights behind closed doors, the manipulations that turned friends into foes, the family divided, and the industry scrambling as Kirk and Mendeecees finally take their power back. But the story doesn't end here. No. This is only the beginning. Every screenshot, every leaked clip, every heated argument you just watched is part of a much bigger picture. The truth has been hidden for too long, and now it's being revealed for everyone to see. Fans are shocked, emotions ran high, and the industry, it's shaken to its core. You might be asking yourself, who's really in control? The answer is complicated. But one thing is crystal clear. Kirk and Mendeecees are no longer just participants. They are the authors of their own narrative, the ones rewriting the rules, and the ones standing up to an empire that tried to erase them. Imagine watching your favorite reality stars, the ones you've cheered for, the ones you've followed for years, suddenly stripped of control, painted as villains for ratings, and pushed to the edge. Now imagine them turning the tables, exposing the manipulation, exposing the lies, and daring to fight back publicly, unapologetically. That's exactly what Kirk and Mendeecees are doing. And you, the viewer, are witnessing history as it happens. This isn't just entertainment, it's a lesson in resilience, in refusing to be silenced, and in reclaiming your story, no matter how high the stakes. The families are tense, emotions are raw, and every word, every clip, every move is loaded with consequences that could shake the world of reality TV forever. We want to know what you think. Who do you believe is in the right? Is the network truly at fault for controlling narratives? Or are Kirk and Mendeecees exaggerating for attention? Can you separate the real from the drama? Or has reality TV blurred the lines too far? Your opinion matters, and it's time to speak up. Comment below with your take, defend your favorite, and let us know which side of this explosive feud you're on. Fans across the world are debating, sharing theories, and dissecting every post, and your voice is part of that conversation. The question isn't just what happened, it's what happens next. And your insight could help predict the next twist in this ongoing saga. And don't forget to hit that like button if you're as shocked as we are by what's unfolding. Every click shows support for the truth, every share spreads the story further, and every subscription makes sure you don't miss the next shocking reveal. Kirk and Mendeecees are taking the fight straight to the heart of the industry, and they need their audience to witness it. When you subscribe, you're not just watching, you're participating. You're joining a movement of viewers refusing to be misled, refusing to be silent, and refusing to accept the narratives fed to us by those in power. Each notification you turn on ensures that when the next bombshell drops, you're the first to see it. Imagine the next chapter. More behind-the-scenes footage. More revelations. More secrets that the network never wanted you to see. The families are under pressure. Alliances are being tested. And the lines between friends and foes are blurrier than ever. Every new clip could ignite another debate, another revelation, another emotional explosion. If you thought this chapter was intense, just wait until the next one. Your engagement, your comments, your shares, all of it feeds the fire, fuels the conversation, and ensures that Kirk and Mendeecees' story isn't just heard, it's felt. So here's your chance. Get involved. Watch carefully, analyze every move, and tell us what you think about the drama behind reality TV's glitz and glam. Are Kirk and Mendeecees fighting for justice, for truth, or just for revenge? Is the industry finally going to face the consequences of years of manipulation? Or will the network find a way to spin this back in their favor? Your opinion counts. Your voice is important, and your engagement could help tip the scales. Leave your comments, debate with other fans, share your hot takes, and most importantly, stay tuned. This story is far from over, and the next chapter might be even more shocking than what you just witnessed. Remember, liking, subscribing, and commenting isn't just routine, it's your ticket to the front row of reality TV history. Kirk and Mendeecees are breaking the silence, exposing what's been hidden for years, and standing up against an empire built on control and manipulation. The families are tense, the industry is scrambling, and the fans are the ones holding the power to make sure the truth can't be silenced. Be part of this movement. Be part of the conversation. Don't just watch the drama, engage, react, and make sure your voice is heard. This is your moment to witness the fight, the betrayal, and the triumphs as they happen. Every episode, every clip, every leak is building towards something massive. And if you think this story is wild now, just wait. The next twist could redefine everything you thought you knew about reality TV. Loyalty, and the lengths some people will go to protect their empire, their truth. So click like, hit subscribe, leave a comment, and turn on those notifications. Join the millions of fans who are already part of this conversation. Make your voice count. Defend your perspective. And get ready for the next shocking reveal in the ongoing saga of Kirk and Mendeecees. The drama isn't ending, it's just getting started. Fans are watching, emotions are running high, and the industry is on edge. Will Kirk and Mendeecees come out on top? Or will the empire crush them under its weight? You'll have to stay tuned. But one thing is certain. This is the most explosive, unfiltered, and jaw-dropping reality TV showdown you've ever witnessed. You are at the center of it all. The stage is set, the players are ready, and the world is watching. Don't miss a single moment. Like, subscribe, comment, and share this story because the next revelation could change everything. Kirk and Mendeecees have taken control of their narrative, and your engagement ensures it stays alive. This is your chance to be part of the conversation, to voice your opinion, and to witness the unfiltered drama that no network ever wanted you to see. The future is unpredictable, the tension is real, and the stakes have never been higher. Stay engaged, stay vocal, and be ready because Kirk and Mendeecees are just getting started. And the next twist could shock you even more than what you've already seen.